Hello, and thank you for joining us on Classic Vinyl Podcast. This is the podcast where we listen to and review songs and albums from the classic vinyl era of the 60s and 70s. I am one of your hosts, Justin, and I'm here with the guy that's daddy's so rich and his ma's so good looking, babe, my co-host, Tyler.
Summertime.
Do you not like Janis's vocal?
Every time I hear Janis Joplin, I need, regardless of how thirsty I am or not, I need to take a drink of water after listening to
And
her.
that's something we'll get to. I absolutely love Janis's vocal.
I know you
Absolutely
do.
love it.
So whoever recommended this song, you found the dividing wedge between me and Justin.
You might have. So Carl from Gainesville, Florida suggested we do, he had said Janis Joplin and her song Summertime. It's actually Big Brother and the Holding Company with Janis on vocals and Summertime. But let me get into a little history about Big Brother and the Holding Company. They're a band formed in 1965 in San Francisco, California. Now they're one of the bands coming out of that mid-60s San Francisco psychedelic scene. You've got Sam Andrew and Peter Albin were playing local clubs and communal events and things like that. Chet Helms recruited Janis from Texas in 1966 after seeing her perform in Austin. Really transformed this band into the blues psychedelic powerhouse that it really became known as. But the classic lineup is Janis Joplin on lead vocals, Sam Andrew on guitar and vocals, James Gurley on guitar, Peter Albin on bass and vocals, Dave Getz on drums. Now, some of those early members were Chet Helms was a manager and promoter, and briefly Chuck Jones on guitar and Tom Finch on guitar. The band signed their first recording contract in 1966 with Mainstream Records. That's who they released their debut album with in 1967, although they later signed with Columbia Records in 1968. They haven't had a lot of sales worldwide, about, 3 million, I think, total sales, largely due to the album this song is off of, Cheap Thrills. It's kind of hard to find exact total global sales, but that's pretty close. I think at least 2 million here in the States and 3 to 4 million worldwide. They were certainly more popular here in the States than anywhere else. They were commercially successful and commercially significant within the late 60s psychedelic blues rock movement, whatever you want to call it. But they just didn't hit the popularity like the Doors or Jefferson Airplane or those other bands that were kind of in the same lane. But I mean, they were definitely culturally pivotal, basically due to Janis Joplin's huge impact, no matter what you think of her voice.
Okay, so I think that Janis Joplin is the dividing factor here. If they had a different singer, they would have either not had any success whatsoever, or they would have had even much more greater success. Because I think it's a really good band. I don't care for her voice, and I'm wondering how many other people don't care for her voice too.
I think this is a song that's kind of raspy on it, but I mean, I think you really ought to dive into some of her other stuff to really see. But I mean, that's something we'll do in the future. So Big Brother and the Holding Company only released 3 studio albums. 1967 self-titled album, the one this song's off of, Cheap Thrills, and Be a Brother in 1970, which was actually after Janis had left the band. They've had multiple live albums. I think most notably their Winterland 68 album was probably their most popular live album. Numerous compilations, various Janis Joplin compilations that brought a lot of the Big Brother and the Holding Company music in, things like that. Box sets, EPs, I think they had quite a few singles they released, I think like 6 to 8 or something, which is probably about normal for 3 albums. As far as albums were concerned in the U.S., all 3 albums hit the top 100. 2 of those albums hit the top 40. Only one hit the top 10, and that was this album, Cheap Thrills, which did hit number 1 here in the U.S. So in the U.K., same type of thing. One hit the top 100 and top 40, and only one album in the top 10, which was this album again, but it only hit number 6 there. The rest of their albums just did not do well in the UK. Canada, same thing. One in the top 100. Same album, Cheap Thrills, but it did hit number 1 in Canada. So outside that, Cheap Thrills did chart in parts of Europe and Australia during the late 1960s, when the counterculture wave was kind of sweeping over the world. But overall performance of this album and this band really worldwide wasn't grand. So in the U.S., as far as singles are concerned, they had 2 in the top 100, just 1 song in the top 40, nothing in the top 10. Their most popular song that they're probably well known for is Piece of My Heart. It charted at number 12. Down on Me did chart at number 43, was their second highest charting song. UK, no charting top 40 singles at all from this band. Just weren't a big hit over there. So Canada, Piece of My Heart reached number 20. That's pretty much the only single that did anything in Canada. So the band itself has not been inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, although Janis Joplin herself was inducted as a solo artist in 1995. And I don't know what I think about that, because this is the band that kind of gave her break, and this is where most of the popularity comes from. So I think with her being kind of the big personality in this group and the big thing to propel this group, I get it in a way. I think she was pressured to go on her own.
Probably so.
And so the original band, though, it effectively ended in 1968 when Janis did depart for her solo career. There's been reformed versions that toured intermittently from the late 80s onwards, different vocalists, different things. They just probably just playing the same old songs like a lot of these acts do, you know. Janis Joplin, obviously famous member of the 27 Club, died in 1970. James Gurley died in 2009. Sam Andrew died in 2015. Peter Alban and Dave Getz have continued involvement in the band, but although in the later lineups. And the legacy of Big Brother and the Holding Company, and it's funny because they're another one of those bands. I think most everybody, you would probably agree, has heard of Janis Joplin.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely know the name, even if they don't know the voice.
I don't think many people know Big Brother and the Holding Company.
No.
And it was from this time where you're getting all these funky band names, you know, like Black Guitar Case and the Strawberry Peppermint Miniskirt or something, you know. I mean, they had all these grand names, and it kind of flies into that to me. But I think Cheap Thrills was really a landmark album in the 60s, and the band is definitely regarded as one of the bands that started that blues rock, acid rock, psychedelic rock, whatever you want to call it. They were certainly a big proponent in moving that forward, without a doubt. So, do you want to get to the song Summertime?
Let's listen to Summertime.
And now it's time for the song review.
Okay, so we did listen to a few different versions. Actually, just 2 different versions. We listened to the original off Cheap Thrills twice, and then we listened to the live version, which was live at the Carousel Ballroom in San Francisco, California. But let me give you a little history on the song. Now, this is kind of this song is interesting because this is old composition. It's a Gershwin composition. This is not a new song. And by new, I mean it wasn't even new in the 60s. So they released this in August 1968 on the Cheap Thrills album. It was not released as a single here. It was not released as a single anywhere. The album itself did reach number 1 in the US and Canada, number 6 in the UK. 1 million copies of this thing sold in the first month. 2 million copies worldwide. I think it's sold right about 2 million total. It is certified platinum by the RIAA here in the US. And Ball and Chain, Piece of My Heart, like we were talking about before, both songs that are on this album. And that's probably what it's well known for more than anything. It's kind of got interesting cover art to it. It's got kind of a comic style cover art on the front of it that was designed by Robert Crumb. This was just really a major commercial breakthrough for the band and for Janis Joplin in particular. But so this song really is a standard. The music's by George Gershwin, lyrics by DuBose Hayward, and it was written for Porgy and Bess way back in 1935. So when Janis Joplin got this song, it's over 30 years old. And I mean, that sounds crazy because to us now that's mid-90s, but I think the 30s to a song just seems forever ago, right?
Oh, yeah.
And as this was recorded, you had Janis Joplin on vocals, Sam Andrew on guitar, James Gurley on guitar, Peter Alban on bass, and Dave Getz on drums. It was recorded at Columbia Studios in New York City and produced by John Simon. So the recording of this, even though it's a standard song, the song's about 4 minutes in length. It's funny because I would never think of this as a standard song. This song to me, just because of the way they recorded it, slowed down, kind of a psychedelic blues rock in reinterpretation. It's got the heavy guitar distortion, the feedback, really giving that San Francisco sound. I would have never known, and I don't know if the kids did at the time, that this was an old standard that was almost 35 years old. Mm-hmm. That kind of blows me away because even now it sounds like this come out of the 60s. This is an acid rock or a psychedelic rock song to me, but it was originally a lullaby. And that's what's crazy about it. But it was reassuring her child. That's what it was about. It was written to reassure a child about hope and security. And Janis Joplin's delivery of this with her voice, no matter what you think of her voice, because I love it. You're obviously on the other side of that fence. It gives that blues feeling to it. And I don't know, it takes me to a different place. It doesn't sound like any kind of childhood lullaby to me, you know?
No.
And the funny thing about this song is it's one of the most recorded songs in history. So the last figure I could find, this song has been recorded over 25,000 times.
Wow.
And I think Janis Joplin's version really helped introduce it to rock audiences, because there's a lot of rock groups on their live albums. Doors, another band I always talk about, they've got a version of this. There's a bunch of bands that have versions of this song. I think even Paul McCartney did a version of this in the 80s. So it's kind of crazy, because it's funny how you can take a song that old and just put a new mix on it and a different voice and a little bit different reinterpretation of the sound and recording and just make it sound like it belongs. This obviously wasn't Big Brother and the Holding Companies, where they didn't release it as a single. It didn't chart or anything like that. There's a lot of live versions. I think Live at Winterland is probably one of the more popular ones. It's on a ton of Janis Joplin compilations live and stuff. And I think this song, at least to me, sounds better live. But I will say, listening to Janis with, say, the Cosmic Blues Band or with Big Brother and the Holding Company, Big Brother and the Holding Company is a far superior band. It's a shame it never really went anywhere with that. But, and like I said, all those cover versions, some of the famous ones, Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Louis Armstrong, the Zombies, Sublime, thousands and thousands of others. It's pretty crazy. So it was a major 20th century standard. I mean, it kind of bridged from opera to jazz to blues to rock. And I think Janis did a really good job of interpreting in that way. And the band, you know, not just Janis, but the band, without a doubt. So it's appeared in more films, television, music documentaries, a lot obviously focused on Janis Joplin, but this song is so wide ranging that anything that has to do with the 60s, really, this song seemed to come up. So Tyler, what is your history with Summertime? Do you know this song?
I know the song, and I've heard this version before. I'm not a huge fan of this song in and of itself. I think probably the most recent rendition I've heard in our modern era was on America's Got Talent. There was a young lady, I can't remember her name, and I didn't look it up, but she had a puppet that the young girl was a ventriloquist, and she had a rabbit puppet that sang this song, and she sang it and belted it out, and it was amazing. The girl had excellent vocals, especially for somebody who's singing without moving their lips. It was awesome to hear that version.
Is that your problem with Janis? Is it she's moving her lips?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never seen Janis move her lips with this. And I don't know that she has to move her lips. I mean, it doesn't really sound to me like she's moving her lips.
No, it's kind of a subdued. I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, you have to hear it to understand.
She is really chewing the scenery in my ears.
And it's funny because I actually agree with you, but that's what I like about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's soulful. It's very passionate and heartfelt the way that she sings. She sings it just like, you know, at the beginning of this episode, said, summertime. I'm not sure. She's kind of grunting it out. And
yeah, she does sound better than you.
She does.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not Janis Joplin. I'm not making any money off of this. Nobody's paying to hear me sing. But that being said, I'm just like, really? Something that strikes me about Janis Joplin is almost every time I hear her sing, almost. I mean, there's an exception. I do like her song, Piece of My Heart. I think she's perfect for that song.
And that's really funny because that's probably the one Janis Joplin song that I don't enjoy.
You don't enjoy that one? Okay.
No.
Every time I hear her sing, I'm like, okay, so somebody snuck into the dang studio and they're not supposed to be there. And they got their voice on the track, and it's embarrassing. I feel like secondhand embarrassment at how harsh her voice is on my ears. It's just auditory sandpaper.
Really. And I think completely the opposite. I think that, especially thinking back to the time, her blues rock. To me, it just mixes so perfectly with everything. I mean, I get where you're coming from with some of that, but there's very little Janis I don't like hearing. In fact, most of Janis I don't like hearing are the popular songs on the radio. It's songs like this and Ball and Chain that I really enjoy.
Yeah. The versions that I have heard that had this much heart and this much passion have all been by women of color. So, I mean, they just sing it so from the heart, and it is a real sweet lullaby. It's frosting over this underbelly of a real sad time where it's almost like you hear this black woman in a time of slavery trying to reassure her kid, hey, you know, it's summertime, the living's easy, the fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. So it's a great time to enjoy life. But underneath it, it's like, oh, but this is still our plight, is that we are owned by somebody else and we are working for somebody else, and it's our life is not our own. And that's you feel that from underneath. And Janis really captures that feeling, that emotion. Her voice is just like nails on a chalkboard to me. And I reserve the right to be completely wrong on that. So
well, it's all about opinion. So we listened to this song twice, the studio version, and we listened to the live version once. What are your thoughts on the song after listening to it?
I'm still not that keen on this song. I have a lot of respect for the song, especially its past, coming from 1935, being a Gershwin classic. And this is like a standard. Like you said, this is a right up there with You Are My Sunshine and I Love You Truly. These are songs that have been around for eras, and they still hold the test of time, and people still sing them and bring them back and record them because there's a staying power to them. And I really respect that about these songs. I really like this band. I think that the instrumentals on this band are awesome, and they're perfect, and it's incredible. Just not a huge fan of Janis, but with a different singer, I think that I would rate this song higher than I did. That being said, it's a song that I have to respect and admire, even if I'm not a huge fan of the song itself. What are your thoughts on this one, Justin?
Well, I like this song, obviously, if you can't tell by what I've said already, but this was in our long-growing list of songs to do. I saw an email from Carl that wanted us to do this song, and I thought, great, we don't have enough female artists on here. Obviously, there's a lot less of them to choose from, but the ones that are there are excellent, and so we've never done one on Janis, and I thought, how could we not have Janis in here? Because I want to see Tyler Haitner.
We haven't done Janis Joplin on here yet, have we?
Nothing involving Janis, no. But anyways, I love this song. I love it from the guitar intro. I don't know what's weird that it's this weird 1930s lullaby, but it fits perfect. It puts me in the 60s immediately. It's got great guitar. It's got great bass. It's got a really good guitar solo in it. And if anything, you talk about Janis's voice being piercing. That guitar pierces your ears in this thing.
Very true. That guitar is way out of left field.
Yeah, it's very jarring. And when you start thinking, okay, you've got the way Janis is singing this in the pseudo blues psychedelic rock style, and then you've got this piercing guitar. How is this a lullaby from the 30s?
Did people not like their kids in the 30s?
I don't know, but they brought this song into the psychedelic 60s perfectly well. And it just as well, as far as I was concerned, and I knew for the longest time, this was a song created by them, right? I mean, because it feels that way. And the funny thing is, anytime I hear any 60s or 70s artist playing this, it feels contemporary. And that's what I really like it to do. But to me, the lyrics and everything just make me feel like it's a warm summertime and I'm driving around with the windows down and listening to a good tune. That's kind of the way it makes me feel. I love the sultry, raking blues voice of Janis Joplin. I don't know what it is, but I like it. It's just the songs like Peace in My Heart that I really don't care for that much. Like Mercedes-Benz is a little kind of crazy, but
I am shocked that Mercedes-Benz is an actual song.
Yeah, but I do enjoy songs like Me and My Bobby McGee. I enjoy a lot of Janis live stuff. To me, Janis is a much superior artist live because it shows the rawness in her voice without doing any kind of studio trickery to it or anything.
True.
It just sounds better. But yeah, very excellent song as far as I'm concerned. Do you want to get to the rating?
Let's rate it.
Song rating.
Okay, listener, if this is your first episode, I will briefly explain our rating scale at 0 to 10, 10 being the best. This one, I had a hard time with, Justin. I tried to give this song a fair shake, and I tried to like it more than I did. It's still a 4 for me. I am so sorry. It's south of 5.
Wow, that might have been one of your lowest ratings.
I think this is about one of my lowest ratings for sure.
That blows me away.
So, yeah, Janis Joplin, in my opinion, is the best evidence that the 27 Club is a real thing. I think that the only reason this girl became so popular and famous is because she met with the devil at a crossroads in Louisiana at midnight and handed her guitar over her shoulder to the devil to retune it. And I think that is the best explanation I have for why she became so popular. So where do you put this one, Justin?
Yeah, we're polar opposite on this thing. It's funny because we had a theme kind of going this season.
Yeah.
That most of our songs were pretty damn close in ratings. We're so far off on this one, it's ridiculous. I rate this song a 9.
Really?
I love this song. To me, Janis's voice is everything you say it is, with the exception of that's what I love about it. That's what I love, how jarring and how raking and how different it is, because you know how many females out there can sing. They can sing. Janis can sing, but she does it with a different style. And when you talk about like the old colored singers and stuff, Janis easily could be mistaken for that and was at times.
I'm sure.
And I don't know what she brings to rock and roll for me was pretty amazing.
I think you're right. She can sing, and I have evidence for this because in the second version, the live version that we listened to, there's a point right towards the end of the song where she actually sends out this clear, sweet-sounding note with her voice, and it doesn't have that gritty, raky sound to it.
Well, and I think that was done on purpose.
I think so.
I mean, I think she's doing that to, like a lot of people, to invent a sound, to sound different. And my opinion, she did it well. So I rated a 9.
So I think that if you're not paying attention, that note will get lost, but she can sing.
Oh, I know she can sing.
I just wish she would more often.
So, Carl, thank you for the suggestion. I don't know if Tyler thanks you, but I do. So
I do thank you, Carl, and I am sorry that this is probably going to infuriate you to hear me rip on Janis, but I'm sorry. I just don't like her that much.
maybe my rating offsets it. Who knows?
I hope so, because a different band, different singer. Her band's really good. They just couldn't carry that song to lift it above a 5 for me.
Understand. So that's Big Brother and the Holding Company and Summertime. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, would like to tell us what you think of Tyler's rating,
Send the 8 mil and I'll get it.
Yeah, you have any songs or albums you'd like us to review, please send us an email at classicvinylpodcast@gmail.com. We really appreciate you taking your time to listen to us. And until next time, see you later.
See ya.
Thank you so much for listening to Classic Vinyl Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at Classic Vinyl Podcast for updates, and also share us with your music-loving friends.